Welcome to another episode of Financial Basics with Successful Living with Reginald Campbell. I am the budget guy, Charles Beasley, and in this class tonight, I have two really good topics to go over with you. So let's just jump into it. The first topic that I want to discuss is a topic from last month's class, reaction plans. I got a lot of questions on reaction plans. Mainly questions were pertaining to how they should be structured and how to use them. So, let's recap real quick. What are reaction plans? Reaction plans for your budget are a tool that you are supposed to create so that when you experience budget increases in your budget, you're able to use your reaction plan on how to attack those increases to your budget to make sure that your budget stays on a level state and that you're not having to do anything drastic or taking money, getting loans or anything like that. So what comprises your reaction plan? Your action plan, first of all, in your budget, we talked about how your expenses that you have, you should categorize them. You should categorize them as needs or niceties. And what are niceties? Niceties are things that are in your budget that are nice to have, but are not necessarily essential to have. So let's say your needs are your utilities, food, clothing, things like that. Your niceties are things like potentially, going out to eat, going to the movies, and various activities, fun money they call it. Those are your niceties that you have in your budget. So what you should do when you create your budget and you have your expenses is you need to categorize your expenses into needs and then niceties. And then what you should do is you should take your niceties and you should categorize them as what is most important to you and what's least important to you. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So that once you do that in your budget and you start to create your reaction plan should be structured as this is what happens when my budget gets overruns or things increase. Okay, this is my playbook for how I need to handle that. So the first stage of your reaction plan should be whatever reserves you have. From month to month, if you maintain your budget or you actually do good with your budget and have money left over, you should have a reserve that you put that into. That should be your first line of defense in your reaction plan. Then once you exhausted all your reserves, then you go into your niceties. That's when you start you go to your prioritized list of niceties and say, okay, this is my least most essential or least most like thing that I want in my budget. I'm going to eliminate it to take care of any budget overruns. And then you go up the list accordingly. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is some people, they don't necessarily eliminate their nicety line items. They may reduce them. So they will reduce several different line items to get the money that they need, rather than eliminating a complete line item. So you really got to determine what strategy you want to use and how you want to use it and how you want to deploy it, excuse me, when needed. But that is what your reaction plan should be. When you get budget overruns, this is what I go to and this is how I'm going to operate to make sure that everything stays on a steady state and stays rolling. And you don't have to worry about doing anything drastic. So again, how to use your reaction plan is all up to you. But the strategy that you come up with should be your game plan going into it. That way you don't have to worry about any emotions taking over, knee-jerk reactions, anything like that. You know exactly what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and how you're going to proceed through it. The one other thing that is also a good thing to use, other than reducing your niceties, is doing alternate substitutes. So many people, what they have in their budget, they have line items for things that are premium. And in a lot of aspects, you can actually use an alternate substitute that's may not necessarily be premium, but it gets the job done. An example would be, and this is from I guess a grocery side. Let's say that you like to buy all name brand ingredients for things. Well, there are no name brand ingredients that are usually about 30 to 35% cheaper than your name brand things. This is a way that you can save money and actually be able to, like you say, reduce whatever your costs are in your budget to make sure that you can handle those overruns and those increases. I can't tell you which one is best. It really depends on you, the person, and how you want to maintain your budget and how you want to react to anything as far as cost increases. But there are several different options out there. I suggest you figure out which strategy works best for you and then put it down on paper. Write your reaction plan on paper so you have something to refer to, and it's not something that's in your head that you may have to remember and all this. Put it on paper. As the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. So I hope that answers the questions that I was given about reaction plans. We're going to move into best practices now. So we've talked about everything as far as budgets, what goes in them, how they're supposed to be made up, everything like that. Last thing I wanted to hit in this budget basics session is best practices. So as we talked before about creating your budget, you need to have a timeline for your budget. And what I mean for that is people create their budgets for 6 months, or people create their budgets for a year. Whichever one is better for you, I would probably recommend a year, and I can tell you why in a minute. But you need to have that time frame established so that you know, okay, my budget is good for the next 6 months, or my budget is good for the next year. The reason why that is important is because of the things that go into your budget. Outside of the daily necessities and everything, you want to put in your budget things like vacation planning. Vacation planning should be in your budget so that when vacations come, you're not having to get money lent to you to go on vacations, or it doesn't become an extra strain on you and on your budget to pay for. If you put it in your budget, 9 times out of 10, you will be able to do your vacation and not suffer any particular type of hiccups to your finances. So the reason why I recommended you do a yearly budget instead of a semi-annual budget is because most jobs, most companies, they give vacation out on a yearly basis. So when you do your vacation planning, you usually do your vacation planning for the year, and that way you can align that with your budget creation to make sure that you got all of that captured. You know what you're gonna do. Home improvements is another thing that needs to go into your budget. If you sit down with your spouse, or you're a single person and you want to do some home improvements in 2026, well, when you sit down to do your budget for 2026, you should have some type of ballpark figure for whatever home improvements you want to do to put into your budget, to make sure that is captured, and that you know going in exactly how much you want to pay, or how much you're going to pay in a ballpark manner for that particular home improvement. And that way it doesn't, of course, become a strain, like I said before. Major purchases is another thing. that should go into your budget. If you decide that it's time to get another car, or you're looking to save for a house, or you need to buy some furniture for your house or replace some furniture or something like that, that should be in your budget as well. So when you do your budget creation, remember those things in your budget, not just your daily and monthly things, but those big things like vacation planning, home improvements, major purchases. Other best practices that you want to do when you're doing your budget is, one, put your utilities on equal payment plans. And we talked about this before, but I just want to rehash it so that you hear it again. Put your utilities on equal payment plans. This way, your budget stays nice and steady, and as your utilities fluctuate throughout the year, as they will, your equal payment plan will have you paying the same thing every month for your utilities, so that you are not having to manage your budget too much and manage the fluctuations of your budget too much, because your utilities are going up and down and what have you. Another thing you want to do is set up your expenses on auto draft if possible. That way, that makes sure that, one, you're never late with your payments, and that is another thing that you don't have to take care of. You don't have to write a check, or you don't have to go online and make a online payment or whatever. It is automatically drafted out of your account once a month to pay that expense on time, which will help your credit score. On-time payments are one thing that will keep your credit score in good standing. Another thing you want to do, another best practice we want to do, is use your smartphone to set reminders and alarms for the things that are not set up on auto draft. Additional reminders will not hurt anything, and it takes very little time for you to do. Grab your cell phone, go to your calendar, put in a reoccurring every month a reminder before the deadline to pay whatever particular bill that you are obligated to, that you cannot set up on automatic draft. That way, you increase the chances of you not ever having a late payment, and make sure that you can keep things on an even keel as far as your expenses. Last thing I want to give you as far as a best practice is keep the reconciles of your budget on a set date. So every month you want to reconcile your budget, or every week you want to reconcile your budget. Make sure you do it at the same time every week, or every month, every 2 weeks. However you want to do it. Make sure you keep it at a set time, because that builds habits. And habits lead you to best practices. And best practices leads you to being financially successful. So that is my short class tonight. I hope that you can take these things and use them in your budget planning. Next month, we will move on into another phase of talking about finances. We'll start talking about investments, which I'm sure that a lot of people want to start talking about. So until then, again, my name's Charles Beasley. Thanks for listening.